evening and welcome to Divine Reality LLC. Apparently, I am locked out of Facebook, so I probably won't get to comment on you tonight, and I apologize for that. I did some changes, and Facebook wants to play with me. So, I'm not real sure. We will see. um, anyways, check out our website at divinerealitytnllc.com. Thank you so much for watching and joining tonight. And I won't be able to tell how many's there until I get this fixed. Um, if you're so inclined to donate, please feel free to donate at Venmo or PayPal, and that's at Divine Reality LLC. Um, the website, I gave you our email address, and you're always welcome to reach out to us and see what type of programs we offer and everything else. That is divine.reality.tn@gmail.com. I'm sorry, yep, you're right, gmail.com. I can't even remember. Okay, so tonight I wanted to talk about finding peace of mind in our troubled world. Um, who listening feels a lot lighter than you did a year ago today? You can feel free to comment in the chat and I'll respond to you in a little while. 2020, whoo, what a year. Started with a virus, it turned into a pandemic, it shut down most of our nation, causing job losses, mandates, mask, virtual education for our children, something no one was prepared for, I don't think. And of course, we can't forget our toilet paper shortage. Um, I'm not gonna express the political views or opinions because that was not what um, this show's about. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Last year there were so many distractions and uneasy circumstances and situations going on in our nation and our world, and some still true today. Our uh, our world is in uncertain times, and we all know that. And regardless of how you believe, anybody that's even a non-believer can see what's going on. And but our media and our social media, everybody blames them, and they have the right to do that. And some of it truth, some of it not. I'm not one to judge one way or another, but they're continuously alerting us now, and not like it was 30 years ago, 20 years ago, not even 10 years ago, but they're constantly alerting us to every catastrophe, every bad mood, accusation, distraction, death, deceit. Nothing feel good. And if you get that one feel good story, it must have been a slow news day. So all that negative, doom, deary, zoom, um, you know, they feed that gloom and doom into us, and it lands right in our conscious mind. And if you listen to me before, I talk about from infant on up, you get the constant feed in. I'm going to get those graphs and do something on that. The constant feed in of negative, or opinions, belief systems. And that's why we are the way we are until we kind of see the light and do what we see is fit for our souls and how our human experience is going to play out here on earth. So, you know, we in turn stay fearful, anxious, stressed, worried in our subconscious mind. There's no break there. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you today about. Many people are finding it hard to relax. And I say relax in the terms of our mind. You might go out and sit down in your lawn chair, but you're thinking usually of, so when I refer to relax here on out, that's relaxing your mind as well. Um, it's very attainable to create peace in each and every one of our minds. Tension, stress, and fear, it's nothing new to us. The psychological condition of fear is divorced from any concrete or true imminent danger. It comes from worry, anxiety, and thinking what if might happen or what if it happened. So it's not something that actually happened, it's just what if. And that's referred to as an anxiety gap. And the problem with that is we create our own anxiety gap and we lose touch with the now. And unless we deal with that gap, it will become your new best friend. And I think that's probably one friend you probably don't want to keep very long. You can always cope with the now, but you can't change the past, and you're not promised a future. So you have to deal in the now. That's why we always refer to in the present. You want to stay in that present mode on this whole level. Our world has seen so many troubled days throughout history. We've seen wars, we've seen starvation, we've seen concentration camps, and I'm saying the world, not the nation. Natural disasters of all kinds, etc. And there's always been a difficult crisis that clouds the sunnier days of our lives, and we manage to think that we get through them. For what has happened since last year, I'm 53, and I don't think anything has ever taken a toll on the nation as this last year. I'll put it that way. I'm not saying other devastation or trying moments have not happened in our government or in our world by any means. I'm not discrediting that. But what you can learn is to live in a troubled mind as well as a troubled life. And I say this is because you don't learn to live with the pressures, or if you don't, I should say, if you don't learn to live with the pressures, then life's not worthwhile if you cannot attain some type of feeling of peace within yourself. You have to do it for you because you have the dreams and you have the desires that you want to achieve. And you have to kind of dig deep past all that hurt, pain, worry, fear mindset or whatever it is that stopped you. And you have to go on and dig deep into your soul and begin to breathe in some state of peace and tranquility, well, so you can continue your journey. We've all had those days where we of uncertainty, and but there again, you have to take a step inside and measure all this. Plato said, "Nothing in the affairs of men is worth great anxiety." And you have to believe that the state of mind of it or inner calm is a real goal for each and everybody. Millions of people continuously torture themselves with anxiety. They can't accept their feelings, they or any type of shortcomings or that they might have encountered because they immediately turn to that fear and decisiveness. And it's difficult for us to make our minds up about anything as humans, anyways. We tend to hold on our extra guilt for any personal failures that we may have made in life, and we take them very personal or so personal that um, you start heaping up these mounds of guilt, and that too will add to no peace of mind because you're continuously thinking, "I'm a failure, I'm a failure, I'm a loser," those type things, and that's not. And if you really evaluated the situation or circumstance, it's probably not that bad. We tend to act impulsive, or we don't act at all. That's a lot of us. If, and if we don't act at all, then it starts becoming a way of life for us. We just kind of sit back and let everything pile up, pile up, pile up. So instead of having feelings of success or confidence, then we usually have some build up some type of phobia or neurotic obsession. To be perfectly honest, I personally know people who I don't believe have ever had a second minutes peace or calmness in years. And I noticed that if they did and they saw themselves laughing or happy or uh, cry, or not crying, but enjoying the few moments, and and I'm referring to one situation that's very prominent in my mind. And somebody said, "Oh, you look, you're smiling," and that person immediately recoiled and started to look for their real comfort, which was the anxiety and their worry and their fear, because you could see immediately they got kind of jittery, withdrawn from the rest of the crowd, and then what? Hey, what's happening? You were having a good time? Oh, nothing. Just like somebody, like they were shell shocked. And I personally become where I avoided certain people last year. Um, they have too many personal negative views. They just feel that doom and gloom in every aspect or quadrant of their life. And I just knew with everything we have to, that's pitched at us. Say you flip on the TV as soon as you get up or listen to the radio or whatever, and the news section comes on, and immediately they started talking pandemics, X amount of deaths, or this many deaths estimated by the end of the week. I mean, it got to be too much. That's why I don't watch TV. So, hadn't watched TV in a long, long time. And I say all this because you're not wrong, but you aren't alone either. When I say that, you're not alone, because so many people, and people who had never experienced once before, experienced it over this last year. And I think that has the reason so many people see the number of suicide or attempted suicide rates on an upscale, the more drug use, more prevalent, those type of things. People who've been recovered slip back. It's a whole new world, and now it's one that we've got to all recover from. I want to read this little piece from you though, and it's actually a passage out of something from Lowell. I was going to say his name right. Lowell Russell Dixon's "You Are Never Alone," and it goes like this: In childhood, we are first introduced to the feelings of aloneness. We come into the world helpless and dependent, and adjustment to new environments and experiences is never ending, as poignant in later years as it is in our youth. And not often can we reach across these years to help those who are just starting out on their journey through life. So these young people have actually experienced something that a lot older people have not experienced in our lifetime. And you'll hear even people my age, they'll say, "Oh, I wouldn't go back, and I don't want to relive my life." Well, you know what? I'd rather live the life that we were brought up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s than I would these kids today. Personal opinion. That's all. Not good or bad for anybody else. Just my personal opinion. The best way to conquer these uncertain times causing our anxiety, worry, fearful feelings are basically to accept them. Don't blame yourself because you have them. That's human nature. And the more accepting you are of whatever weakens you, the more and easier your calmness is attainable. And I say that because if because once you face them, it kind of gives you a shield of armor, and you are more, if you run into that same fear, or it's a constant fear sometimes, then you are able to know how to handle it a little better, and it doesn't put you in that such of a anxious state. Many times we find calmness and contents in contentment in our hobbies or whatever interests us. Use those as a go-to for spiritual tranquility. And I'm sure there's something that we all enjoy, um, that helps us kind of detach from amount of trouble that the world's going under or that we've been packing around for years or day to day or months to months, minute to minute. Doesn't matter. A lot of people like to garden. Some people like to read or do poetry. Something as simple as sitting and rocking in a rocking chair. I find that very relaxing. Of course, I'll usually end up going to sleep. But that, I guess, the rhythm. You just kind of get lost in it and just really totally mind clearing for me. I don't really think about anything when I'm sitting there rocking. My mom, who's 85, I'm going to share this with you, says that she gets lost in her own thoughts when she's cutting the grass. And here I am over here worried about her 85 cutting the grass. But she loves it and it puts her in a better frame of mind. And that's like her mind clearing moment. So I kind of have let off of her a little bit. Of course, if it's 90 degrees or higher, I really worry about her. But she'll she'll just take her little time um and I know this to be a fact because I can walk up on her, and even though she doesn't hear very well, she'll be like zoned. And I kind of get tickled at it. And I'm like, hey, I'll usually holler across the yard so I don't scare her or startle her. Because I wouldn't want her to lose her footing or anything like that and it'd be on me. But she just says it really, really clears her mind. You get lost in your thoughts. So that's her thing. Um, do whatever. Calms your mind. We're motorcycle riders. Sometimes you gotta get that wind in your face. Clears your mind. Are you somebody who actually is chained maybe to your troubles or your worries? Chat in the box because I can't see you. I'm drinking from my Daystream mug, Raquel Red, at hashtag RKN Live. She does a Daystream show that builds off of a lot of things I talk about. Hers is more geared maybe through law of attractions and your thought process. And you should go over there and listen to her at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday in most cases. And then she does a really cute comedic entertainment political show on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we do support our other small business owners. Okay, so I asked you a question. Are you someone who's actually chained by your worries? And what I mean by that, if you're one of those people, this worry comes to another worry, to another worry, to another worry, and so on and so on and so on, then you're not a free person. You are locked in jail in your own mind. Do you find yourself saying things like, I'm just so worried? Or start conversations with, like, I'm worried about so and so or such and such. People don't use conversations with friends, family, and coworkers. Those statements are just contaminating. And unless that's what the conversation is about, I wouldn't bring it up. Let's just put it that way. If you're at a family reunion and somebody took a spill and hurt them, well, I'm just kind of worried about it. That's one thing. But because they're over there doing the electric slide and enjoying themselves, and you're standing over there on the sidelines going, "Oh, I'm worried about her. She might fall and break a hip." She was having fun. She'd let her worries and fears go. So take note, pay attention, notice what you're noticing. Are you now jealous and envious of her? I mean, ask yourself these questions. They're simple questions with probably a very simple yes or no answer. But when you start, that negative way is such a waste of time because you could be using the most wonderful part of and a wonderful power in our minds. And that's positive thinking. If you make it a habit to invite the negativity in, um, and invite jealousy and resentment, envy, self pity into your mind, then they're coming to the party. They're coming to the party of your life, and they're going to wreak havoc with their worries, fears, and worry is one of the most destructive things that we can do. It takes over our needs, and our days are intolerable. Am I not on at all? That's what I figured. Folks, I'm not on at all. I'm going to come back and do the whole show again. Give me about 15